All right, India's journey into space has been nothing short of extraordinary over the last few years. It started with well-known now humble beginnings, but now the nation in decades has emerged as a formidable force in space exploration. Our achievements put us right at the frontier. Today, as we stand on the cusp of a new era for space, our endeavors are poised to change our future.
So ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization, has been the torchbearer of India's space ambitions with a commitment to cost-effective, innovative missions. ISRO has also achieved milestones that have garnered global acclaim as well. We all know about them. The successful landing of Chandrayaan-3 on the moon, the South Pole, and the launch of Aditya L1 mission to study the sun are all testaments of India's growing capabilities in the space science.
Recognizing the potential of private enterprise, what you've also had happen in the last few years is that the government has initiated policies to encourage the private sector also. So their involvement in space activities now is being encouraged in a big way. An ecosystem is being set up. The establishment of the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center serves as a regulatory body to facilitate private investments and collaborations. In 2024, the government approved a 10 billion rupee fund to support space startups aiming to boost employment and innovation in the same sector. You have companies that have come up in the last few years. Some of them you may have heard of. Skyroot Aerospace, Agnikul Cosmos. These are companies that are private, but they've made significant strides. They've had successful suborbital tests, the development of indigenous launch vehicles
as well, right? So now these startups exemplify the synergy between public support, private innovation that is getting a great push from the government as well, positioning India as a competitive player in the global space market. Will India have its own Tesla one day? Well, we're all waiting for that, to have a company of that magnitude. India's space strategy emphasizes international cooperation and ambitious future missions. Plans are underway to establish the Bharatiya Antariksh Station, the National Space Station, by 2035, not very far from today. Now, additionally, India aims to send a crewed mission to the moon in 2040.
Collaborations with global space agencies, including NASA and ESA, have enriched India's technological capabilities. India has also had its private companies work with SpaceX, when we mentioned them a few minutes ago. And all of this has expanded our scientific horizons. The joint NASA-ISRO synthetic aperture radar, this is a mission that is slated for 2025. It's an example of such partnerships. The idea of that is to aim and provide critical data on the Earth's changing ecosystems. But despite remarkable progress, India's space sector is still facing some challenges.
And in 2024, the funding for space startups saw a 55% decline, for example. This underscores the need for sustained investment and supportive policies to nurture innovation. Moreover, as the global space race intensifies, India must navigate geopolitical dynamics, technological advancements, and the imperative of self-reliance, the absolute need at the moment. Balancing these factors will be crucial in maintaining and enhancing India's position in the space domain, of course.
Okay, so to tell us a little more, first we have the former ISRO chief. He's with us this morning to tell us a little bit more about the entire space story, where India is in this journey. Let's just go over to him to understand more. ISRO Chief Sivan, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Tell us first, sir, India's space story, ISRO's achievements. They make it one of the leading space agencies in the world. Space tech is an area that India is cutting edge in. And I think today, at a day when we talk about India's need to grow in other areas, AI, quantum physics, for example, what did we do right in this particular area? What was the ecosystem building that took place years ago?
Indian space program actually started with a noble vision of providing that space-based technologies for the benefits of the common man. That was the vision with which that ISRO was initiated, and for that, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai was of the view that the technologies required for achieving this vision to be indigenous. Now that we have come a long way, and we have developed launch vehicles, we have developed the satellites, and we have developed the ground segments. All these things are indigenously developed. Now we are providing services to the nation, and at present each and every moment of the common man of India is one way or other linked to the space technology. That much achievement we did, and very important thing is all these things we have achieved indigenously. That is more important.
True that. But sir, you know, the other big chapter in India's space journey has been the private companies and their participation. Companies like Pixel doing groundbreaking work in satellite imaging, Agnikul, Skyroot, we mentioned that, are working again on indigenous rocket launches. So what kind of policy changes or perhaps infrastructure support do you think India needs to fully unlock the potential of private space sector? And how do you actually imagine private-public, you know, collab on this one?
Basically, this particular aspect of opening up the space sector potential for the unlocking the space sector potential for the private sector, it was initiated in 2020, and it was a bold step by our Honorable Prime Minister. And immediately after the bold step, that lot of private companies started groundbreaking work, and the type of developments happening in the satellite area or launch vehicle area, it is really amazing. And what I am telling is this: the private people are showing that they are not less than ISRO, and they can do even better than ISRO. That way, by opening up the space sector, it's in the startups and private companies are doing excellent way. And now we are thinking of that already we have shifted that PSLV project to the private sector for making its own rocket PSLV. And this is yet another event. And now they are planning to shift the other launch vehicles like GSLV Mark III, SSLV also to industries to make it. So that way, the whole private sector ecosystem on the aerospace area is really growing very fast, and they are really doing a wonderful job. And I am sure that they will come to equal to ISRO very soon.
Chandrayaan 3 success, Gaganyaan, all of this obviously marks India's ambition beyond Earth's orbit. But what we've heard about is that interplanetary missions can require sustained funding, long-term strategic vision essentially. It's not something, that can be done over the short term at all. Can you tell us what India's next big priority when it comes to deep space exploration, what that should be?
Now immediately that after that Chandrayaan 3 mission, that next big mission, the deep space exploration is on the Venus orbital mission. This project is already approved by the government of India. Now it is going on very well, and by 2028 India is planning to launch a probe to Venus. That way it is a next step. That one is already approved program. Already that programs like next Mars orbiter mission, such things are there. But the Venus mission is already approved, and it is going on very fast. And there is a time slot also to launch by 2028.
I'm coming back to my question, sir, on public-private partnership on this one. And Indian space program has historically been government-driven. But with satellite-based services, space tourism, even asteroid mining becoming some of the future industries that one hears of, how do you see ISRO's role evolving in these areas? Will it continue as a guiding force, or do you foresee more hands-off regulatory role like you see perhaps NASA shift with SpaceX, for example?
No, definitely this that our future in the space area is really vast, this one, and that they in addition right now there is a very clear directions up to 2040 that Bharati Antarisha Station we have to go build, and also that man should be landed on the moon by 2040. These are the directions given by government for ISRO to do that work. And now we are thinking something beyond that. Definitely that more exciting missions like were mining the asteroid, all these things are required. And only thing is that requires a huge amount of investment, and private parties should come forward to collaborate. So ISRO also can contribute on technological developments, but who has to do what, that it has to be decided later. But that is a lot of collaborative efforts are required. There is a single agency alone, considering that time, technology development and money is involved. So single agency alone is not sufficient to manage. So it has to be done by multiple agencies together. In this one, I am sure that the private people's contribution will be in a major way. That's what is expected very soon.
All right.
Tell us, what is India's biggest competitive advantage, and what gaps do you think our country still needs to bridge when it comes to emerging? We already have emerged as a global leader in space tech. We're number one when it comes to a few different aspects. We've been the first, for example, to reach a particular part of the moon. But what more is it going to take to set us apart?
So definitely that is our India's effort mainly on the space activities, on the low cost access to space. Regarding the technology development, that is we are also on par with other people. We are no way less than others. That way I would say that we are equal to them, but we are not going to compete with anybody. We are doing our own job with our own definition. But at the same time, we are the biggest advantage. What India is doing is executing all these costly projects in a very cost-effective way. That is a main purpose and main objective of that India's the space visions.
And you're right, that does give us an edge against the world on how you're managing to do such great quality stuff, path-breaking stuff, but also doing it in such little means. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and sort of putting all that is happening in the world of space tech in perspective for us. But